Alright, folks, we got ourselves an upcoming UFC show. It seems like we have like one every other week now, but whatever, I'm not going to complain about, free fights, technically. Alright, so UFC 198, our main event is actually Fabricio Werdum taking on Stipe Miocic. And back in the day, I used to have the time to do, the whole fight metric stat analysis. Not really my thing anymore, just I'm too stressed for time. But this should be a pretty good matchup. I think if there's anybody currently on the UFC roster, I think has the best arsenal to clip Verdum, it's probably Miocic because he's a very good inside fighter. He gets really up close. He's got some range, and Verdum, he's had a lot of success against guys who are dangerous strikers like Cain Velasquez, uh, Alistair Overeem. Even though Overeem did beat him in that one terrible, terrible Strike Force fight from many years ago, but that happened in 2011. Doesn't count. But Verdum, I mean, just the way he's been fighting, he's just been on a roll. He's technically excellent. He can wrestle. He can submit. He has really good boxing, as that matchup against Cain Velasquez demonstrated. And Miocic, he's got force. He's always got a puncher's chance. But unless he's able to go in there and just tag Verdum early, just don't see it happening. Verdum's pretty much the only heavyweight out there right now who actually has cardio, which is a huge advantage. And everybody else, Dos Santos, he just beat up. Everybody else is way past their prime, counting down the clock to retirement. But it should be an interesting first couple of rounds anyway. But yeah, basically, unless Miocic knocks Verdum out in the first round, I just don't really see this one going all that long. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I just got to go with the most likely outcome, and that's Verdum goes in there. He wrestles. He managed to control the tempo. He negates Miocic's striking, and it doesn't take long. Verdum goes in there, and he gets that third round submission. I'm gonna go with an anaconda choke. So Verdum retains. Oh, it's a show in Brazil. It's actually really, really stacked. One of the best looking cards from top to bottom we've had in a long time. So you can tell the marquee fighting season is upon us. Co-main events: Ronaldo Souza taking on Vitor Belfort. Jacare taking on the Phenom. How weird is it that Vitor Belfort, despite being like 58, he's the Undertaker of MMA. He just does not retire, but he actually looks young. I mean, you look at the guy; he doesn't look like he's almost 50, even though he's closer to like 40 than 50. I don't want to be too over dramatic there. Ronaldo Souza, we all know him from Strike Force. Really good submission fighter, really great BJJ guy. He's a little bit quicker, a little bit more technical than Vitor, but Vitor he's cagey and he's got better striking. I think this will be one of the more unexpectedly entertaining fights of the year. I think it's a really good stylistic mashup, and I don't know. It's got a feeling it's gonna be close, but I'm gonna go with Belfort. Maybe not by knockout because he's probably not on the steroids anymore. But I think Ronaldo doesn't really have as versatile a striking stand-up game as Belfort does. So with that in mind, gonna go with Souza. No, I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go with Belfort. Sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Now, here is something that even 4 years ago would seem absolutely unfathomable. We've got Anderson Silva on a UFC card, but he's not in the main event. He's not even in the co main event, he's in the middle of the main card. Anderson Silva taking on Uriah Hall. We know Silva, since he got his leg broken, he's just not the same fighter. I mean, if you go back for it, when he got rocked by Weidman, that was pretty much the end. All great fighters, like all great empires, must fall eventually. And Silva, frankly, he fell a long time ago. I think he goes in there and he gets embarrassed and he gets TKO'd, finished by Uriah Hall. First round, second round, the latest. And then we start saying, okay, it's time to hang it up, guy, because his time has come. All right, catchweight bout, 140 pounds, Chris Cyborg taking on Leslie Smith. Obviously, we all know where this is headed. We need the Chris Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey super duper main event in Madison Square Garden by any means imaginable. So the absolute worst thing that can happen is Leslie Smith goes in there and finishes Chris Cyborg. And you know what? With the crummy luck the UFC has had with the whole featherweight situation where you got Conor McGregor acting a fool, you got Ronda Rousey losing, then you got Misha Tate winning the title, and you got John Jones being a jerk, and you got all these fights being canceled. I think it continues. I think Dana White stepped on a black cat on a crack and broke a mirror at the same time. So Leslie Smith goes in there and she wins. Second round submission. I know, big upset, but I'm calling it. All right, in our main event, Mauricio Shogun Hua, yet another guy who really needs to hang him up, taking on Corey Anderson. It's one of those fights where I don't think Anderson's really that complete of a fighter, but he's still not Mauricio Hua, who is really old and just banged up, and he really should have gone the Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira route a long time ago and just quit while he was ahead. But he's not, and I got Corey Anderson going in there. Shouldn't have too much trouble. I got him winning first round, strike, TKO, stoppage. All right, so rounding out the rest of the main event, and surprisingly, it's actually pretty good. We've got some decent-looking fights throughout the non-pay-per-view portion of the evening. You got Damian Maia taking on Matt Brown, which really probably should be on the main card. That's going to be very interesting. Great stylistic matchup. Can Damian go in there and control the tempo and take down Matt Brown's striking and control the ground game? I think he will, but it's going to be very, very close. I got Maia by split decision. I got Warley Alves taking on Brian Barberena. Brian Barberena, he's not actually related to Barberino, who I believe is from Welcome Back Kotter. So he will lose. That's why I'm going to give it Alves third round decision. Diego Santos taking on Nate Marquardt. Two guys that are surprisingly still in the fighting game. I don't know. I'm going to go with Diego Santos. I mean, I think Marquardt's a better fighter overall. The crazy things happen in Brazil. I think Marquardt's going to go in there and a mosquito's going to land on him, and he's afraid he might get Zika, and that'll distract him, and that'll allow Santos to get the knockout blow. So Santos, stoppage victory, second round. John Lineker taking on Rob Font. I'm going to go with Rob Font in the upset. Just feeling like it. Anytime you have a card in the southern hemisphere, as we saw with the show in Australia, funny things happen, and I think I got upset on that one. Patrick Cummins taking on Antonio Rogério Nogueira, not Minotauro, the other one. I'm going to give Nogueira this fight. It should be pretty easy. Patrick Cummins is a dude who not that talented. So Nogueira, I got him winning, third round submission. Everybody goes home happy. Francisco Trinaldo taking on Yancy Medeiros. I'm going to go with Medeiros, third round stoppage. Sergio Moraes taking on Luan Chagas. Going to go with Moraes, or Moraes, not Moraes, whatever. I got him winning second round stoppage. And our preliminary card UFC fight pass curtain jerker, Renato Makana taking on Zubaira Turkhagov. Well, you don't mess with the guy, or I don't even know if this is male or female anymore. Okay, it doesn't say women's whatever. Or wait, it doesn't list on Wikipedia. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go with Turkhagov, because if you can't pronounce their name, they're probably bad, and they're better fighters just based on the unpronounceability of their names. So there you go. Those are my picks for UFC 198. I'll actually probably watch this one. This looks pretty interesting. And of course, from there, we got UFC 199, which should be also pretty entertaining. UFC 200 coming up around 4th of July. So yeah, we got some decent fights coming up. And it's in Brazil. Who knows if they'll even have an actual government at that point in time, by the time the show actually happens. So there's that. Add that to the over-under. Whether or not the country will collapse. Probably. But asides, that's UFC 198. I'll watch it. You probably will too. See you at the cage.